Yo, what is going on? Carter here. Video for you. Video for your ear holes. Video for your eye holes. Oh man, it's been a goofy day. Excuse me. We're going to take a closer look at my, my Umnumzon that I got yesterday. So I've had all night and day to play with it. I've carried it around. I've thought about it. I've used it. And so here's a few preliminary thoughts on it. And I know I'm not going to cover everything just because I'm just not going to be able to. But I'm sorry I'm talking so slow. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. There's a bunch of very interesting features on this knife that I want to talk about. First of all, let's start at the blade. Very large blade. You know, it's a nice medium/large side tactical folder. That's my phone. I left it by the speakers. Hate that. S35VN came with a polished edge, although it wasn't hair shaving sharp, but it was sharp. It's got a kind of a harpoon up here that is almost sharp. You could probably open a package with this. I really love the design of this blade. Love the way it looks. It's got nice rounded edges. Very nice. Dual thumb studs that also work as blade stops. And blade stops in the open and closed position. So there is no stop pins in this knife at all. The thumb studs act as the stops. Oversized pivot. Obviously it looks very huge. I'm not sure what the interior diameter is. I don't know if it's really big. It could be actually small. I can't quite see in there and I don't have the tool to take it apart. It does require a proprietary tool to do that. I almost ordered one and then I didn't, so I don't know. It is a little tight, the pivot. You know, it's smooth, the action's smooth, but very stiff. It is not very easy to open. And even if you take the tension off the lock bar, I mean, it reduces it a tad, but it's stiff. It could probably use a little loosening of it. They probably tightened it to this point because after it's broken in, I'm sure it'll loosen up, as opposed to breaking in and loosening up to the point where it's too loose. All titanium scales, really thick slabs, and you'll feel it in the weight. You know, it's a pretty hefty knife, but it's also pretty slim. You know, it fits in the pocket very well. Titanium pocket clip. Has the little divot right here, and this basically is a really cool design. I'm sure most of you know this, but the kind of the seam on the top of your pocket kind of goes past that and fits right in there. Gives it a really secure hold. You do gotta kind of get used to it. There's a few times I put it in my pocket, it stopped right here, not realizing I needed that extra push to get it to go past. But once you get used to it, it works just fine. You know, fairly deep carry. About you know, about what majority of the people like. Some people like it really deep, but this is about what I like. You know, enough that I can grab onto it. Lanyard hole, you can go all the way through or just one side. It also came with a lanyard pin if you like that. One standoff right here. Has a glass breaker or skull crusher, whatever you want to call it, right there at the top. And that is what that's for. This is a non-functional piece. You could actually cut that off and it doesn't, you know, it's not a leftover piece from the Tang or anything like that. It was designed to stick up like that for a reason. Has and this is a new feature, lock bar over travel stop. It's not a stabilizer, because if you can see there how it's free floating when it's opened like this, so you can actually push the lock bar this way. A true stabilizer that Hinderer developed prevents it from going in as well as going over traveling out. Works very well for the over travel, can't go past there. Very nice stuff. You know, aesthetically it's just beautiful. It's got this great milling right here. Very comfortable, beautiful. I believe it's sandblasted, stonewash blade, polished thumb studs. Has the O-rings right here to deaden the sound in both opening and closing. From what I understand, those are not required for functioning. So you can take those off and everything will lock up just perfect how it should. It's just there to deaden the sound. So that's cool. That was one of the things that kind of kept me from wanting to get this, because I was like, I've got to have rubber O-rings on this thing. I don't know if I like that. Lockup, super late. It's about 90%. And the reason for that, and the most mind-boggling thing about this knife, is the lock face. From what I understand, the Sebenza does not have this. Only the Umnumzaan does. Basically, it has an oversized detent bowl. Oh, and along with that, there's a really huge detent hole, bigger than the ball, which is interesting. But an oversized detent ball that actually rises above this lock face. And so that ceramic detent ball is what is actually interfacing with the tang. So the titanium is not actually touching the tang like in a traditional titanium frame lock. And the reason why, I'm speculating, but I'm sure it's right, reason why it comes out of the box so far over, so late lockup, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be hitting that ball on the very top. You'd be hitting the side, and that wouldn't work, because if you move it over here, see how you can unlock it? Because it'll travel around that ball. So the only way to make that ball work is that ball pretty much has to be in the center of that tang. And so if you imagine the ball being kind of over to the left, you can see how it's about right at that center, and you can kind of see right there how it more or less is in the middle of that tang there. And you know, I gotta admit, that's hard to wrap my head around. I see a lockup that late and I think, oh my god, this thing's not going to last very long. But I honestly have not heard of people having issues with it. I haven't heard of Lockrock issues developing, and I've seen some really well used Umnumzaans, years old, namely Solo's Knife Reviews. I mean, he's had his forever, and I haven't heard him say anything about it having problems. So yeah, I just got to put faith in Chris Reeves' design and move past it. Got the Made in Idaho stamp there. We got the CR logo on here. I assume that's steel, which is why that's lighter. Titanium's a little darker. You've also got the CR up here. Very nice blade. The ergos on it are just, you know, they're great. Nothing's there that doesn't need to be there. Feels great in your hand. Kind of like the Yojimbo. It has the same type thumb rest on the top here. Really good stuff. This knife is damn near perfect. And if it wasn't for this one last thing I'm going to point out, I would say that I love this knife and everybody needs one. The only problem I have with this knife is it's very uncomfortable to disengage this lock. And you can see there that it's completely flat on the inside and it's a 90-degree corner. Very strange. Everything is nice and melded on this knife. You've got beveling everywhere, except where you put your thumb to disengage it. And not only that, but the lock bar has a lot of tension, so it takes quite a bit of force to just move this thing. And the fact that you're jamming your thumb right on that corner, it's kind of perplexing. This side is nice and beveled. I would like to see it reversed. I would like this beveling on this side, and this can come straight out. So I don't know, I'm a little confused as to why it was done that way. If anybody has any information on that, let me know. I do know that this is the only knife that has this over travel stop, because I guess they were having problems with people bending this lock bar out. I don't know if it was by mistake. I'm guessing they did it on purpose because it was hurting their thumb. But for whatever reason, that isn't an issue that's been addressed, but they did put that on there to prevent people from bending that out. But all in all, you know, very nice knife. Perfect execution in terms of fit and finish and ergos. Blade size is just perfect. It's not too big, not too small, for me at least. Just very, very nice. Really like it. It's already broken in a little bit. The detent softened up a tad. I think it is a little smoother than when I first got it. So I'm looking forward to spending a few more days opening and closing and kind of getting this thing even more broken in. So I will definitely be doing an update for you guys on the progress with this knife. This will probably be my primary carry knife for the next little while. I may carry the Yojimbo or the SOCOM Delta here and there, but hopefully I plan to have this be the main carry for the next little while. But you never know how that goes. Alright guys, have yourself a good day. Hope you liked the video. I appreciate all your support, all the views, the likes, the comments, all that stuff. I love it all. Thanks guys, have a good day.